but nobody appears to be running. However, President Bola Tinubu has now expressed concern over the blackout in the region and summoned the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, over the matter. The President directed the Minister and relevant agencies to speed up the pace of work to restore electricity in the affected states in the north. Now, Mayor, the President has given that order. He has ordered that power be restored to the affected states. But it's not just by ordering. What are those things that must be put in place to avoid a repeat of this?
Let me start by saying that those who manage the president, they've done a good job of presenting him as a leader that has empathy. At every point in time, they come out to explain that the president feels your pain. You understand? He knows what the people are going through and is working very hard to solve that problem. That is very good. Every leader should have that quality. Having said that, the question is, why is it that they don't have light in the north? It's very simple. Banditry and crime. Because there are people that vandalize the TCM power line. There are bandits that are operating in areas where these lines are. Do you understand? So, by vandalizing those power lines and then bandits working in such areas, it becomes difficult to even repair those TC lines quickly and put them back on stream. Part of the problem that we have within our part, something was that Obasanjo made a fundamental error when he was president. Yes, of course. Because when we spent $12 billion on energy during that time, during the time of Obasanjo, most of that money was spent on power generation through gas turbines. Most of them were gas turbines. And that didn't show ability to look ahead. Because if you just cut that source of gas to those turbines, that's it.
Blackout.
Whereas it could have been better if they mix it. Gas turbines,
the alternative sources.
Wind, the solar, and all that. If they had done that, that would have been concentrating where people have comparative advantage. They didn't do that.
That's true.
But why they were spending that money on power generation, they didn't touch transmission at all. The major problem we have with our electricity now is that we have only one power line that have been done since the time of Oyinbo people when they colonized us. And it's there. Old, they've not done anything to it for so many years. It's the same power line that's going to take from the Gencos to the Discos. And every time and again, it collapses. That's why you hear today the grid has collapsed, tomorrow the grid has collapsed. And then what has worsened the situation in the north, like I said, is that vandalization. People are now vandalizing those power lines. And then because of the banditry and all these people that have taken over a lot of places in the north, TCN officials could not access these places quick enough to be able to do that. So that is why you will see the Chief of Defense Staff saying that, okay, we are going to clear the place, then people who are going to repair can now access the place, and they will now start doing patrols along that corridor so that they will minimize vandalization. That is the problem. So if the president says, restore electricity immediately, it is good. The people want to hear things like that, that the president is mindful of what is going on. But it's not something you can just do immediately.
Exactly. You don't just say, let it be.
It's not something you can do immediately. But at least it's a step forward that the president has given that order, which has galvanized everybody to look at that, because that's what they should have done. What they're doing now is what they should have done before. They should have involved the military. The military will be able to say, okay, let us clear that corridor. And then when they clear the corridor, the people that will repair those lines will access the lines, and then they can start patrolling the place. What they want to do now is what they should have done.
Exactly. So
it takes some time.
Some persons have argued that the current power outage sabotage is intentionally targeted at the North. Do you agree with that?
No, I think there's no other way to diagnose the problem than what he has done. It is purely about banditry. It's purely about some people who want to make life uncomfortable.
Nothing politics about it.
Nothing political about it. No, nothing political. It's just that it is right for these governors to cry out, because those are the things that their people want to do. And it's unfortunate that we have not started tapping into the fact that power has now been devolved. We need to begin to focus on those mini generations for us to have power. We are still depending on the federal. It's a general problem. It's a structural problem. And that's one of the things he has talked about. Apart from alternative sources of energy that we need to have tapped into, and we must tap into it if we must end this power issue. Haven't you bothered yourself that you know, the late Bola Tinubu said that, give me a few months.
Oh, 6 months. It's
six months. You know, anything darkness will be a thing of the past. And after a few months, he was scared. He had to ask to be, you know, to be reshuffled to another position. That's to tell you that it is beyond 1+1. We need to address it to the roots. Power has been devolved. Let states start looking at how they can generate power. Let them start looking. Nigerians have even started looking for solutions. I have a friend who doesn't even know what PHCN is saying about power. It's fully on solar. And he doesn't even understand what we're talking about. He's not concerned about the fuel situation. So we shouldn't push Nigerians to that level.
Okay.
Government should do something. Let the power be devolved.
You'll make that comment, but we need to go on this quick break, because we're still going to talk about this. We need to go on this quick break. And when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still Journalist Hangout. Just joined us. It is still Journalist Hangout. I still have Mayor Kimpelu and Kaide Ladende right here with me in the studio. Yeah, we're still having this conversation on the issue of power. But my parents told me something, that when I was growing up as a baby, my first language was Dada, Mama, and Opnepa. I'm close to 40, and yes, this matter of power security is still a problem. Administrations have come and gone, and yet the problem still persists. What is the way out?
Because they didn't want to solve the problem.
A state of emergency,
I've told you, because you see, no, not really. You see, in the power generation, when you talk about power, there is generation, the GenCos, there is distribution, which is TCN, there is the distribution, which is the DISCOs. The problem we have is that when we were looking, that's why I mentioned Obasanjo the other time, that even when we pumped a lot of money into
the power sector,
we were looking at only one sector of it.
Without looking at the other two.
The other two. Because the problem we have in Nigeria now is that even when you generate the electricity, sometimes the DISCOs cannot take them, because the TCN cannot transmit them.
Because of
if you load it to that level, it will shut down. So because sometimes we used to generate about 6,000 megawatts plus, but they will distribute maybe about 4,000. So to solve the problem, the way to go is like, you know, they were discussing with Siemens at the time, and that's what they should do. We need to overhaul the transmission.
No, but the Siemens thing, I had a conversation with BK. He said that the Siemens thing, he knew it wasn't going to work from the start.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you know, they had the discussion with them.
I had hope
during the time of Buhari, but we have not had anything about it again. But that is the way to go. The way to go. For example, now the electricity is no longer on the exclusive list.
Exactly.
So why is it that our governors cannot be creative? For example, each geopolitical zone, the governors in each zone can come together. Build their own transmission line, take themselves off from the national grid, hook up with the plants that are generating electricity in that area, and then they build a new independent, smaller transmission line for that region.
Do you see them having...
And we can do that in the 6 geopolitical zone.
Do you see them having the political will to do that?
It's because they don't want to do it. That's what I'm telling you. For example, in Southwest, which is the same in every state. That's why you have this Northern Governors meeting. Okay. In Southwest, for example, we have Bodua Investment, which is a business concern incorporating all the states within the Southwest.
The region. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So through a vehicle like that, they can decide that, okay, let us invest, have our own transmission line, independent of the national grid. Let us build more things, introduce solar, introduce hydro. We have water everywhere. Then we can now generate and transmit in our region.
In our region.
And say, Federal, we don't need you again. You can go. Let us concentrate on it. They can do that because it's no longer on the exclusive list. But people must do things because you cannot wish something without putting in a lot of efforts and you think it will solve that problem. And the problem is that we keep doing the same thing and we expect a different result. You understand? So the problem alone is not generation.
So we have to generate more.
We have to generate more, but we have to solve the problem of transmission. If we solve the problem of transmission and generation, the discos will transmit because the disco now they earn a lot of money. They earn good money now. So you know before sometimes the disco will say I don't want when they want to give them, even when they want to give the electricity, because people are not paying the kind of rate that will pay them. So they will say no. They concentrate on areas where they will pay what they think is the right amount to charge. But now that when we have started this band-aid and all that, you will see now that they are giving like, because now they are making a lot of money now. You understand? So if they have that electricity to distribute, they will be happy. So we should be able to concentrate more on transmission and generation. Our problem basically is transmission.
He talked about the willingness of the states to do this. That's one. And also number two, the Minister of Power also said that, okay, all those states in the north that are under blackouts, they will not be billed for the period. I just want you to just talk on those two things.
Yeah. See, I think what Mayor is interested in is a long-term solution. Whatever the minister has said, they've promised us 5 days. Nigerians have spent more than 5 days. Nigerians have spent more than 2 months in darkness. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to downplay the pain that people are going through.
Just saying,
but what we are saying is that if we go through this pain, we stand to gain something in the future. That's the picture he's painting here. Power has been devolved in 2023 Electricity Act.
Yes.
So what are people doing? We have seen a situation where PHCN is even trying to threaten some of these sorry, did they still have PHC?
No, they're not PHC.
Sorry.
They are different names.
The discos and whatever are even trying to threaten people. And I think there's a particular minimum that you can generate that they will allow you have your own grid. You can pull out from the national grid. I'm not too sure of the accurate
I think
power that you can carry.
Started, I think like so, Enugu.
No, I'm even talking of individuals now.
Individuals,
In my estate, for example, we have some companies who are purely on solar and they have excess. They want to give it to us
give to people
in our area so that we will just make our payment. But we're trying to calculate it with the band that will belong. If it is cheaper for us, we'll move there. So this issue of power, people have taken their destiny. Some people have taken their destinies into their hands. So the government should wake up. It is sad that when we are dealing with pipe-borne water, a lot of people now have boreholes to provide water for themselves. We are dealing with electricity. You are leaving Nigerians to also find a way out. What is the essence of governance? Why are you there? Why were you voted for? So those are the issues that our government should take up. Prioritize the people. Prioritize the basic amenity. Power is very key. Power is absolutely very, very important. Irrespective of what the governors are saying, which I consider that I believe the minister will fix it in the next 5 days. Bills are not going to be collected. That's fair enough. But we are talking of when are we going to stop this up NEPA? It's sad that our children are also inheriting that bad culture.
It is sad. But another area is still talking about the issue of vandalism. Should there be stiffer penalties for people who try to vandalize our lines?
No, there's penalties. It's just that you see, it's just that crime. There are some people, no matter what the punishment, they will still get involved in crime. I think it's a very serious crime, vandalization of
infrastructure.
Yes, it's a very serious offense.
I think a minister tagged it as terrorism.
Yeah, it's a serious offense. But the problem now is that will not stop some people to vandalize it. That is the way we are. There are some people, whether we like it or not, want to get involved in crime. Okay. But the major problem is the banditry in that area. Is the security situation that makes it worse. Because apart from that vandalization, like I said, even when it is vandalized, the officials, the TCN officials do not have access to go and make that repair. You know, every time, even in South here, you will see that Mikeja Electric will send you a message that one place they are doing something somewhere, and then that is the reason why you don't have light and all that. So that will happen. It's natural. But the problem in the north now that makes the situation is that when they have issues like that, officials cannot access those places because of the security situation to make the necessary repairs that is important. That is why it got prolonged for a long time. It is the transmission line that was vandalized and they could not access.
Okay. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Okay, we have a phone call. We have a Samuel. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us on Journalist Hangout. Samuel Taiwo. Hello, Samuel, are you still there? Okay. Hello, Samuel, are you still there? Okay, thank you so much for joining us, Samuel.
Fine. I really appreciate Mayor and Kayode.
Yes.
I'm there.
Let's talk. I can hear you. Let's talk.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you perfectly. Let's talk.
I'm Taiwo from Badulaye, Lagos.
Let's talk.
You see, the problem we are facing, Mayor has already said it, that it is about the origin that started all this problem. Let us bring that one alone. Let us take the government. They are there, they can be able to see whatever they want that brings money for them. They can go or they not, they have their way. They can use it. In fact, we have so many things that all the government can use. If they can find that situation, it will be better for us. We don't even need to be arguing about what is this or what is that. So let us face the reality. What is the way forward? That is what we are going to see. All this banditry.
All right, thank you.
Let government have a penalty.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Taiwo. Thank you so much. You want to react to what he said?
Yeah, I can understand what he's saying. It's the same thing that we've just been saying, that the governors should be more creative. They should get involved in this. This is no longer on the exclusive list. And then it can be done because they can be done. Electricity is so important.
Exactly.
And then most of the states have electricity board. So the electricity board can coordinate people like you mentioned, people who generate electricity and want to give to people, because I don't think you can generate electricity. You can't generate electricity and just go and sell it. You can't do that.
You need approval.
It's only government that can do that. But the electricity board can coordinate that in each state. But I think the most important thing is for each geopolitical zone to get together and handle their own transmission, generation and transmission, and then use the discourse within that particular area.
Is it possible to allow private partnership as well?
Of course, yes.
I think the current electoral act gives you a particular number, but you must get approval for you to pull off from the national grid.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Very brilliant.